In the heart of the Syrian war, amidst a global struggle for power and control, one man stood at the center of it all: Bashar al-Assad, a dictator whose hold on power seemed unshakable. But what if we told you that behind his survival lies a secret connection with Russia? A connection so powerful it may have altered the course of history. Bashar al-Assad, the ophthalmologist-turned-dictator, inherited power in 2000 after the death of his father, Hafez al-Assad. Little did the world know that his rule would soon be challenged by mass protests in 2011. What began as peaceful demonstrations against his government escalated into a brutal civil war that would see millions displaced and hundreds of thousands killed. As the war raged on, Bashar al-Assad's grip on power began to slip. With opposition groups gaining ground, many believed that the end of his reign was inevitable. But in 2015, a game-changing move altered everything. Russia, under Vladimir Putin, made a decisive intervention, sending in airstrikes and military aid that would tilt the balance in Assad's favor. While the world believed Assad's future was uncertain, a different story was unfolding behind closed doors. Sources close to the situation have revealed that Assad, fearing for his life, had already planned his escape, with the help of Russia. But how deep did their involvement go? And what role did Russia play in facilitating this dramatic escape? It was no coincidence that Russia's intervention was so timely. Behind the scenes, an unspoken deal was struck. In exchange for military aid, Russia gained a deeper foothold in the Middle East, cementing its strategic interests in Syria. But this was not just about geopolitics. The survival of Bashar al-Assad depended on Russia's unwavering support. Russia's military support to Assad went far beyond just airstrikes. It included weapons, tactical advisors, and the deployment of special forces. These forces were not just ordinary soldiers, they were highly trained operatives skilled in various forms of warfare. Their presence on the ground provided a significant boost to Assad's beleaguered forces, who were struggling to maintain control over key territories. As the world watched, Russian-backed forces turned the tide of battle. The intervention was a game-changer, shifting momentum in favor of Assad's regime. The combined efforts of Russian air power and ground troops created a formidable force that the opposition found increasingly difficult to counter. For Bashar al-Assad, this military assistance became his lifeline. Without it, his regime might have crumbled under the relentless pressure from various rebel factions and international forces. The support not only bolstered his military capabilities but also provided a significant morale boost to his loyalists. In the most dangerous moments of the war, when defeat seemed inevitable, the situation grew increasingly dire. Rebel forces were closing in on key strongholds, and the threat of losing Damascus loomed large. The stakes were incredibly high, and the survival of Assad's regime hung by a thread. Assad was reportedly evacuated to a secret Russian military base. This evacuation was a highly covert operation, shrouded in secrecy and executed with precision. The base, located in an undisclosed location, served as a safe haven where Assad could regroup and strategize without the immediate threat of assassination or capture. While the details remain murky, insiders claim this was his escape route. The operation involved a complex network of safe houses, decoys, and highly classified routes. It was a testament to the lengths Russia was willing to go to ensure Assad's safety and the continuity of his regime. The Russian military ensured that Assad's survival, and with it, his regime, was preserved. This unwavering support from Russia not only stabilized Assad's position, but also sent a clear message to the world about Russia's influence and commitment in the region. The preservation of Assad's regime was a strategic victory for Russia, solidifying its foothold in the Middle East and showcasing its military prowess on the global stage. Assad's survival was not just about military power, it was about influence. The Syrian civil war, which began in 2011, saw numerous factions vying for control. Assad's regime, initially on the brink of collapse, managed to hold on through a combination of strategic alliances and brutal crackdowns. The turning point came when Russia decided to intervene in 2015. This intervention was not just a show of military might, but a calculated move to reassert Russia's influence in the Middle East. With Russia's backing, Assad regained control of much of Syria, although the country was left in ruins. Russian airstrikes targeted rebel-held areas, tipping the balance in Assad's favor. The collaboration between Assad and Putin was more than a military alliance, it was a geopolitical strategy. Russia's involvement ensured that Assad could reclaim key territories, but at a devastating cost to the Syrian infrastructure and civilian population. Cities like Aleppo and Homs were left in shambles and the humanitarian crisis deepened. For many, his continued rule symbolizes a tragic victory for autocracy and foreign intervention. The Syrian people have paid a heavy price, with hundreds of thousands dead and millions displaced. Protests against Assad's regime were met with violent repression, and the presence of foreign military forces only complicated the situation further. The international community remains divided, with some viewing Assad's survival as a necessary evil to maintain stability, while others see it as a failure of global diplomacy and human rights. As we reflect on the story of Bashar al-Assad and his mysterious survival, one thing is clear. Russia's involvement has been pivotal in shaping the fate of Syria. The alliance between Assad and Putin has not only altered the course of the Syrian conflict, but has also redefined the geopolitical landscape of the region. Russia's strategic military bases in Syria have given it a foothold in the Mediterranean, challenging Western influence and reshaping alliances. But what does the future hold for Assad, Russia, and the people of Syria? Only time will tell. The rebuilding of Syria is a monumental task, fraught with challenges. International aid is crucial, but political stability remains uncertain. Assad's regime faces the daunting task of rebuilding a nation while maintaining control. For Russia, the Syrian conflict has been a demonstration of its military capabilities and a test of its diplomatic strategies. The Syrian people, however, continue to bear the brunt of the conflict, with hopes for peace and normalcy still distant. One thing's for sure, the world will be watching closely. Relations, and the impact of geopolitical decisions on everyday lives. In the aftermath of the Syrian civil war, the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East has been irrevocably altered. The conflict, which began in 2011, has left a trail of destruction and a complex web of alliances and enmities. Cities lie in ruins, and millions of people have been displaced, creating one of the worst humanitarian crises of our time. The war has not only reshaped Syria, but has also had profound effects on neighboring countries and the broader region. The alliance between Bashar al-Assad and Russia has not only ensured Assad's survival, but has also solidified Russia's influence in the region. This partnership has allowed Russia to establish a significant military presence in Syria, including air bases and naval facilities. The strategic importance of this alliance cannot be overstated, as it provides Russia with a foothold in the Middle East, a region that has been a focal point of global power struggles for decades. This chapter delves into the long-term implications of this alliance and how it continues to shape the political dynamics of the Middle East. We will explore the potential future scenarios that could arise from this partnership, including the impact on U.S. interests in the region, the responses from other regional powers such as Iran, Turkey, and Israel, and the broader implications for global geopolitics. By examining these factors, we aim to provide a comprehensive understanding of the ongoing and future shifts in the Middle Eastern geopolitical landscape. The U.S. has long been a dominant force in the Middle East, but the growing influence of Russia in Syria presents new challenges. How will the U.S. respond to this shift in power dynamics? Will it lead to increased tensions or a re-evaluation of American strategy in the region? These are critical questions that need to be addressed as we look to the future. Additionally, the roles of Iran and Turkey cannot be ignored. Both countries have vested interests in Syria and the broader Middle East. Iran's support for Assad and its rivalry with Saudi Arabia, along with Turkey's concerns about Kurdish forces near its border, add layers of complexity to the situation. Understanding these dynamics is crucial for predicting future developments. Israel, too, is a key player in this intricate geopolitical puzzle. Its security concerns, particularly regarding Iranian influence in Syria, have led to numerous military operations. The interplay between these various actors will continue to shape the region's future. In conclusion, the Syrian civil war has set off a chain of events with far-reaching consequences. The alliance between Assad and Russia is just one piece of a much larger puzzle. As we move forward, it is essential to keep a close eye on these developments and understand their implications for both regional and global stability.